Hey everyone, how are you all doing today? I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I am so excited for this video. This is my update to the Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I feel like it's been a really long time since I have sat down to update this project. It has been a little over a month, but it feels like an eternity since I've done this project, and I am doing a little bit of a reboot this time. I've taken it kind of slow the past couple months since I've been allowing myself to try all my new things, and now I'm ready to get back into it and roll some random eyeshadows and get going again, penning eyeshadows. So before I get going into the nuts and bolts of this project, I have to tell you about the tea of the day. It is so good. So I have a little video I can show you. This is the Keelan, I don't know how to pronounce that, China Oolong, and it is a really roasted, kind of woodsy, really dark oolong, so it doesn't have that floral oolong flavor that a lot of us kind of associate with oolong. It's very roasty, toasty. It makes me think of like wood cabin type things, plaid, firewood. It's just one of those drinks. It's really, really good. I got this as a sample from Sips By. I love it when they send me oolong. Okay, if you have never seen a Pan Those Eyeshadows video before, I will quick tell you that this was originally started by Alexi. I always have her linked in the description box, and since she started this project a few years back, it has become just wildly popular. A lot of people do it, and it's gotten to the point now where we all kind of change the rules to suit ourselves, to our own panning styles and needs. The way that I'm doing this particular project is that I am panning 3 eyeshadows at a time. One of those eyeshadows is coming from a seasonal focus palette, and I like to hit at least a couple pans in that palette before I switch it out for a new one. The other 2 shades are just randomized from my collection. And then I'm also working on a palette that I'm just trying to hit a number of uses on. I do not have all of my palettes in my spreadsheet for Pan Those Eyeshadows because I don't like to put brand new palettes in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I like my palette to have a good amount of use on it first, or to either a lot of uses or at least one pan in the palette before I will use it in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So in order to like prep my palettes for Pan Those Eyeshadows, I'm working on one palette at a time to try and hit something either 20 to 30 uses on the palette, depending on the size of the palette and how much I've used it already. So maybe that's where I'll start this time. I'll give you a quick update on the palette that I'm trying to hit a number of uses on. So this is from Colourpop. This is the Making Mauves palette. And I have been using this a lot. In fact, today I think I hit 15 uses. I have my little sticky note here in the back. Yes, I have hit 15 uses. My goal is 25 uses on this, or pan, whichever happens first. I'll probably hit 25 uses first. I have been using this so much. This shade, you can't tell because Colourpop mattes are typically pressed very firmly like this one is, but I use this shade a lot. Today I actually used Tongue Tied in my crease, and this shade Bi-Coastal I actually have tapped all over a cream shadow on my lid today. So that's typically actually what I've been wearing. I've been wearing a cream shadow from my Partners in Cream project pan, then using one of these mattes in my crease, and then throwing this shade on my lid for some sparkle. It's been working out really well. I love these tones, especially this time of year. So I have been loving just reaching for this one. So I am over halfway to my goal. I expect to roll this out next time. I don't want to go over 2 months with this. I would like to roll in another one. So just 10 more uses. I think I can do that. The dip on Bi-Coastal is looking good. However, Colourpop shadows are kind of deep. So that's why I'm thinking I'll probably hit 25 uses before I actually hit pan on that. But that is okay. I'm just really happy with the use on this. I think the only shades I have not used are A La Mode, which is a shade I just don't really like on myself. And actually surprisingly Big Fig down here. I haven't reached for that one yet. I have used this shade, however, as an eyeliner. Okay, so that's the update on my palette uses project. Let's talk now about the shadows I've been trying to hit pan on. So like I said, I have been taking a little bit of a break from randomizing eyeshadows for the past couple months just because I have been using all my new things, but I still was working on my seasonal focus palette. So my seasonal focus palette was my master palette by Mario, and before I rolled it out, I really wanted to hit one more pan, and I did. I hit one more pan, and it was in this shade right here called Fifth Avenue. I'm gonna put up a picture so you can see that shade a little bit better. So now I have 3 pans in this palette, which makes me happy. I have good dips going, a lot of the other shades. So now I'm feeling ready to roll this palette out, said this so weirdly, roll this palette out and roll in a new Focus palette. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. This is definitely going to be coming back into this project, especially this fall. This is one of the palettes I really want to focus on, considering it's one of my oldest palettes. I'm just done with it for now. You know how you get with a certain palette, you kind of want to move on to other things. So I will certainly be coming back to this palette, and for now I'm just really happy with the use I have on it. Oh, the only thing that made me kind of sad. So I did hit pan in Fifth Avenue, but I hit the pan at the end of December, so I can't count this pan towards my beauty bank project that I'm doing. But that's all right. It's okay. It is what it is. Okay, so first I'm going to show you my seasonal palette that I want to work on, and we'll pick a shade to work on. Well, actually, no. Let's do it the other way. Let's roll in my shades and then pick a seasonal palette and pick a shade to work on, since I'll roll in my randomized shades first. Okay. Goodness, I'm just all over the place. I'm just so excited. So one of the things that makes pan those eyeshadows kind of difficult is the random color stories you can get that aren't really applicable to the time of year. Not everyone wears seasonal eyeshadow. I personally do. I find that I do not want to wear a lot of warm tones in the winter. I want to wear those really kind of super dusty mauves and cool tones. Whereas in the summer, I actually want to wear something more warm. So I made a separate spreadsheet aside from my Pan Those Eyeshadows spreadsheet that I'm calling my winter Pan Those Eyeshadows spreadsheet, where I pulled all the shades that I would be okay working on. So I have a list of 91 eyeshadows here. I tried to really spread the love, get a lot of different shades and lots of different finishes and things that I'd be willing to work on. I have a lot of single eyeshadows in this particular spreadsheet as well. Lots of depotted eyeshadows and lots of cream eyeshadows. I'm kind of hoping I roll in some cream. That would make me happy. So anyway, this is the spreadsheet that I'm pulling from to make sure that I have makeup that I actually want to wear. I know I keep saying this, but for me, I really want this project to be fun. I don't want it to be hardcore panning, finish this. I just want this to be a fun way to use my eyeshadows. So here's my sheet. I believe I said 91 items. Yes, 91 shades. So I have my spreadsheet over here, and now I also have random.org here. I'm gonna roll for a number from 1 to 91, or 2 numbers rather. So here we go. First, we have number 89, and next, 52. Oh my goodness, I am so nervous to see what these are. Okay, let's do 89 first. Oh goodness, that is a Makeup Geek matte. I have hit pan in a Makeup Geek matte before. It is not easy. It is this shade right here called Prim and Proper. This actually is very similar to the tones in the palette that I'm working on in Making Mauves from Colourpop, but that's okay. I'll figure out a way to make it work. Oh, yay, that's so beautiful. It's exactly the type of shade I want to work on. So yeah, that's exciting. Oh, and I forgot to mention, my goal is either pan, or if I reach 20 uses and I want to roll the shadow out, I will allow myself to do that. If I reach 20 uses and I still want to keep it in, I'll allow myself to do that. I'm not going to be super strict with myself about that. I just want to reach at least 20 uses on the shadow. Okay, so Makeup Geek Prim and Proper was the first one. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is one of the shadows that I was hoping would get rolled in. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's a rather large pan. This is from Nabla. This is the shade Chemical Bond, and it's a taupe. It is a beautiful taupe. And the shade, it's not extremely metallic. I mean, I'm sitting here in front of a window, so the shimmer really shows up nicely in it, but it's a really nice shimmer. It's a kind that will lay nicely on your eyelids and won't emphasize texture. And it's like, I guess some people could even classify that as a satin. I wouldn't go to say so far as say it's a satin shade, but if you're familiar with like NARS cashmere type finish, that's what that's like. Look at, oh yeah, baby. I know some people would be so bored pulling that, but not me. I am stoked. My goodness, it was such a good idea to make this spreadsheet of shadows I actually wanted to work on. This is making it so exciting. Okay, so those are the 2 shadows from my collection. Now let's talk about the focus palette that I want to be working on. So this is, again, one of my oldest palettes. This is from Cargo Cosmetics, and this is the Tokyo in Bloom palette. Look at the color story. It is obviously right up my alley. There's definitely some similarities here between the Colourpop palette and this one. Like, oh my goodness, I think it was good to roll in my other shades first before I chose a shade from this one, so I didn't continually work on the same shades. So let's see, which one of these could I work on that would not mess up the rest of my shades here? I could work on this gray matte. Let's see. it is actually extremely sheer. I feel like it wouldn't take too much trouble to try and pan that because I would have to use so much of it to show up. But let's see, what else could I work on? I could work on this dark brown. I'm not working on any deep, like outer corner deepening shades. That actually might be the best idea. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for. This shade called Shibuya. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I'll take a picture and put it up on the screen so you can see a little bit better. I do already have a dip going in this, and I think I have had this in a project before in the past, this particular shade. So I know that it is a nice shadow to work with. Let's swatch that next to the rest of my color story. So we have a mauve matte, a taupe shimmer, and a dark brown matte. All right. Look at there. I am super, super pleased, like really, really pleased with this, you guys. So even though I do have that 20 use goal and rule where I allow myself to roll it out, I would like to hit some pans this year. So I'm hoping to do that mostly in my focus palettes, especially. So let's hope this doesn't take me too long. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for following along with this project, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.